Free agency is about to begin. The Texans, big name, big connections. Should they? Will they? Won't they? What else could they do? Let's go inside the locker room.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop.
It's the locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 Central, Sports Radio 610. And the Odyssey app. Free agency about to begin. One of the most important free agency periods really in Texans history, if we're being honest. Like, the excitement level right now is extremely high. And the Texans are in a situation where a lot of people trust them. A lot of people have opinions, all that. It's going to be wild. And by the way, we're starting at 11:30 tonight. Just for the first night of the fast forward. We'll be back to 10:30 tomorrow. We'll react to everything going on. And I'm going to be on the air at 10 a.m. Central. So I'm not going to feel sorry for y'all because my clock's the same damn thing. So don't ask me to feel sorry for y'all. I'm on the same clock. We had some big news today. Arik Armstead, D'Amico Ryan's guy, he is going to be on the market. The San Francisco 49ers are going to release Arik Armstead. Should the Texans be in on this? I know a lot of people want Christian Wilkins, but Arik Armstead has history with D'Amico Ryans. He has howdy from California. Man, shout out to H and Rob Hull. Much love to you. JG saying, what's up, Texans fans? Should the Texans sign Arik Armstead? I don't know what the numbers were going to be, and I don't know what the numbers will be. But what I do know is this. Christian Wilkins is expensive as hell. I like Christian Wilkins as a football player. Do I like Christian Wilkins enough to give him $25 million a year? He's 28. He's been good for Miami, but Miami's willing to let him go. And here's the whole thing. And I have a whole list of questions that I'm going to ask. But is paying Christian Wilkins really a good move? And the reality of the situation is, and this can go back to the draft, this can go back to anything, except I think the draft is actually a better representation of raw emotion than free agency, because in the draft, you at least have people disagreeing. They should have drafted this guy. They shouldn't have drafted that guy. I've yet to see, and I've been doing this for a long time. I've been following this for a long time. The majority of my life with my father and me, whenever I was in the car with my father, we were listening to sports radio. Every draft from elementary school on, I was following. I remember arguments over draft picks. But big free agency signings, is there ever really a large portion of the fan base, or even like a decent chunk of the fan base, that's against like signing the top name in free agency in the NFL? Everyone's usually pumped up. They're excited. They're pumped. Oh, yeah, Albert Haynesworth. Yeah, Albert Haynesworth. Oh, yeah, we took Javon Curse from the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, party in Philadelphia. Oh, Nnamdi Asomugha. Yeah. Byron Jones with the Miami Dolphins. Yeah. Dominican Sue. Yeah. There's very rarely is there a pushback when it comes to the big free agent signing. You're always pumped. You're happy. Your team's spending money. Your team is going all in. Chances are they're addressing a position of need. It's not like the draft. The draft, you're upset. Or someone's upset. I wanted this guy. You wanted that, blah, blah, blah. But when you make the big free agency signing, the big money, like I've yet to see a situation where it's like, man, that was a bad move. That was terrible. What were y'all doing there? Doesn't happen. And they don't make it very often. They being the player that the team signs. They don't make it through that contract. That's for damn sure. Doesn't happen. But there's always, I would say the overwhelming majority, I would say at least 85% of people are pumped about it. Oh, yeah, we got that. There you go. Big signing. You will not find too many people that were upset that Nnamdi Asomugha got signed. Doesn't happen like that. So, of course, Texans fans are rooting for Christian Wilkins. But Christian Wilkins, let's be honest, signing Christian Wilkins, this is, and I don't want to generalize because I think there's way too many generalizations. Christian Wilkins, like signing him, that looks like what a bad contract in free agency has looked like for the last quarter of a century. This isn't like a running back, like you don't pay, blah, 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 blah. Like some weasel sitting here trying to tell you how you look at running backs. When this is the first time that their pay scale has been this low and their impact is still the same, and the free agency market, like you can always like get a weasel talking to you about the running backs, and it's like, oh yeah, well, this is why you don't. It's a different situation. But if you honestly just look at from the start of free agency to now, and I think the salary cap started in when? 93? Cowboys, whatever it was. Just go back to 2000. Paying a guy his second contract at 28 at defensive tackle, more times than not, that's what a bad contract looks like. That's what it looks like. This isn't like a generalization. This isn't a, hey, let's pick one example type of thing. This is what it looks like. Think about it. And there's guys who've had way better careers up to this point than Christian Wilkins. I'm not trying to disrespect him. But let's just be honest. Christian Wilkins is a good football player. He wasn't as good as Javon Curse when Javon Curse left the Titans. He wasn't good as Albert Haynesworth when Albert Haynesworth signed his deal. He wasn't as good as Ndamukong Suh when Ndamukong Suh went 3 years into his contract. But you want to pay Christian Wilkins? And then you want to say you don't want to give Saquon Barkley $10 million? Okay. I mean, all right. I mean, I guess that's where we're at right now. We don't want to give Saquon Barkley $10 million a season to play football. I mean, I'm not even sitting here saying that that's going to go awesomely. All I'm saying is if that doesn't go well, if the Saquon Barkley situation doesn't go well, it's not as costly as what we're talking about with Christian Wilkins. Brings me to the next question. From is paying Christian Wilkins a good move to what the hell are they going to do at running back? Saquon right now has a big market. I saw the article on ESPN. By the way, the Giants offensive line ranked 31st in run block win rate last season. They were just 0.1% ahead of Tampa Bay. Saquon's 27. He's going to have a big market. Is Saquon the guy? He might not be. But to act like paying Christian Wilkins $25 million for 4 or 5 years or whatever the hell that is a no-brainer, and Saquon Barkley for $10 million based on what he can do is awful. That's the confusing thing to me, if I'm being honest. Joe Blue says it right. Hit the like button. Be sure to hit the like button. It is the number one source for Texans digital content and the number one source of radio content. You already know that. Show of record. Check the numbers. Check whatever. But yes, it's the show of record. But yeah, hit the like button. Go back. Do your thing on there. Appreciate everyone for coming through. We've adjusted. James would rather have Derrick Henry over Barkley anyway. That's cool. And this is another thing, another observation that I have when it comes to the Texans. And we'll get into this a little later on, but I like to quote T.I. before he completely became a total weasel and borderline dick piece. I don't know if I want to call him a dick piece, but he's close to it. But T.I. used to be one of my favorite rappers, and he said something that I think we all need to adopt. I'll say that when I get out of here, because that's just kind of how I feel about the Texans front office. Appreciate everyone for coming through. DeAndre's asking, what do you personally think is going to happen tomorrow? I'm not Miss Cleo, brother. I mean, I don't know this organization. I don't know this front office. I mean, I know them. I know them as well as I can. I mean, I'm on the flagship, allowed to say whatever the hell I want. But I don't know. I've never seen Nick Caserio or D'Amico Ryans in this situation. So if I said I knew what was going to happen, I would be lying to you. My uncertainty, like I'm as excited about the uncertainty as you are. No idea. No trends, no nothing. I mean, I've seen people try to say that Nick Caserio is going to do this based on this. D'Amico's going to do this based on this. Bobby Slowick's going to do this based on this. I don't know what these guys are going to do. So I'm having as much fun. I'm having as much fun as you are, my friend. No clue. Damn, we're in Canada. Damn, what's up, JS? Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you very much for coming through. Who do I want? I want Saquon, man. I'm a Saquon guy. See, my man DD came through. I want Saquon. I want to kick the tires on it. I think it's low risk. Like I back in the day, like when running backs were paid, you know, this like when we were talking about Saquon or Christian Wilkins, I might have leaned Christian Wilkins. But let's just put it this way. Let me put it this way. So the projected contract right now for like Tyler Boyd is like $9 million a year. Okay, that's $9 million a year for a guy who's established himself. Like, let's be honest, he has established himself as a number 3 receiver. Now, if you want to talk about Gabe Davis or something like that and unrealized potential stuff, I can get down with that. But Tyler Boyd, this is projected, so it might not happen. But Tyler Boyd right now is going to get some estimate $9 million a year. I think Robert Woods got 6 or something like that. 6 or 7. I don't have it in front of me. Dalton Schultz just got $12 million a year for the next 2 years. Okay. Saquon's projected to get $10 million a year, and some people are saying that's high. Tell me how that makes sense based on risk and everything like that. Like based on like the worst case scenario is Saquon Barkley gets hurt or whatever. But if Saquon Barkley's on a football field and he's missed less games the last 3 years than Nico Collins has. If Saquon Barkley's on a football field, people are really shaping their lips. And it almost seems like they just want to pile on and be bullies. People are shaping their lips. Man, I ain't got my neon sign on. Damn it. People are shaping their lips to say that Saquon Barkley makes as much of an impact or could make as much of an impact on a football game as Dalton Schultz, Tyler Boyd, or Robert Woods. That's disgusting, man. Like, let's be serious. Have we not watched the San Francisco 49ers? Kansas City Chiefs are a well-run organization. Would y'all agree with that? They tried to draft a running back in the first round. They messed up. They took Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If they would have taken Jonathan Taylor, would you have knocked that? It's insane to me that we're like even if he sucks, what are we doing? What are we really doing there? Are we going risk reward or what? Like what could Saquon Barkley do? Well, he took a team to the playoffs 2 years ago. Now, what did the Giants decide to do when Saquon Barkley took him to the playoffs? Think about this. Think about this. They decided to pay Daniel Jones $40 million a year. What if they would have just said, Saquon, man, we're going to pay you. We're going to give Saquon Barkley $15 million for 3 years instead of paying Daniel Jones. They would have paid Saquon $15 last year. They would be paying him $15 this year, and they'd be paying him $15 next year. They were kicking the tires on Russell Wilson. You know why the Giants have to move on from Saquon Barkley? Because their dumbasses decided they were going to pay Daniel freaking Jones instead of Saquon. It's a joke. That's where we're at right now. So do I think that there's a guarantee that Saquon's going to be good? No, I don't know. They're looking at it more closer than I am. I don't know that. I want running back, man. Patrick Foley's asking me what I want running backs, man. I want to take advantage of this market. Texans got to run the rock better. They were the second worst team in the NFL last year in the playoffs at running the rock. Devin Singletary came here to be a backup, and I think he should be their backup next year too. Tampa Bay's the only team who ran the rock worse. You got to run the rock, man. I hate to use the Christian McCaffrey example, but San Francisco gave up what they gave up, and without that, they ain't where they're at. So that's where we're at. What time does free agency start? Second hour of a show, 10 a.m. Central, right here on YouTube, right here on Twitch, 11 a.m. Central. So second hour of the show. If you're not following Sports Radio 610, get in that mug too. What will happen to Dameon Pierce? Dameon Pierce will be trying to make the team, man. Great dude. Cut from the right cloth. Tough year for him. He'll be trying to make the squad. I mean, what do you want to do with him? He wasn't even playable last year. Try to make the squad, man. Try to be that dude. That's what happens with him. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Subscribe, like, right along. I'm not leaving, but just a little reset. Subscribe, like, right along. It's been a long ass day today. Been doing some daddy-ish. We went to Home Depot, made like a whole new garden in the front. Went on the Traeger, did my thing, all that. So I'll be doing my thing. Shout out to MJ. Wilkins is overrated. Texans will overpay for him. Yeah, I hope they don't. I'm not down with that. I think Armstead's the dude to go with. Brandon asks, they haven't re-signed Motor. He getting money? Let me ask you this, sir. Ma'am. Might be named Brandon. I don't know. Where would he get money? Where would Singletary get money? And I'm not even disrespecting him, but last year he signed here to be a backup. The running back market's as high as it's been. His old destination did not look at him as a starter. They actually improved in that area when he left. Where's he getting bread? Like, where's he going to get a better role? Where's he going to get a situation where the locker room embraces him and loves him? It just makes too much sense. Bring him back. Bring him back in the role that he came here to be. How do I feel about the wide receiver room? Worst depth in the league. And two guys who can't really stay healthy at the top. I mean, I like Nico, but I mean, he's missed 13 games the last few years. Walked out of that Jets game. I mean, by walk out, I don't mean like walked out, but he was hurt, unavailable. I think it's the worst depth in the league, and I don't know whether they have a true number one. I want to see another one from Nico. That's where I'm at. I love Nico though. Badass. Real badass. What's your stance on scheme fit over talent? I don't even know. I don't know what that means. Like I don't know how to measure it, because I think sometimes people assume that this guy is not going to be a scheme fit and he ends up being a scheme fit. Sometimes they assume he is and he isn't. Damian Pierce last year. I think a lot of times it's based on what they've done instead of what they can do. In other words, I think a lot of times when people say that he's not a scheme fit, they look at where he had the most success and they say, oh, well, he was running a zone running scheme there, and he definitely cannot do that, run this scheme. It's just based on what he's done, not what he can do. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I tend to like listen to scouts a little bit more on that type of stuff, but quite frankly, like the scout thing is a little bit weird for me. I don't even like the scheme fit stuff. Just it's kind of an eye roll for me at this point. I think there's a lot of posers on online that do it, and they talk about it. I'm just not really into it. Jerome Kick says the Jets have a worse receiver room than the Texans. I don't know. Texans don't have a Garrett Wilson. I promise you that. But yeah, you got Tank and stuff. But if you go 1 to 5, I don't know that the Jets is worse. Honestly, if you're going 1 to 5, like if you're just going like top heavy, maybe. Although the Texans don't have a Garrett Wilson, but if you're going 1 to 5, I don't know about that. You're going 1 to 5 is bad. Really bad. Really, really, really bad. Should the Texans sign Arik Armstead? I love Armstead, man. I've never heard a bad thing about him. From Indy to San Fran, to what D'Amico has said about him. Now there are some reservations, and San Francisco is in a situation where they have a lot of highly paid players. Armstead hasn't been on the field, and Perhaps they asked him to redo a contract, and he just really wasn't about that life. But these are some details on Armstead. This is from Cody Stutes, Age Football, best written word you can get daily, best money you'll spend. The cap hit was going to be $28 million, so that's a lot. They have a lot of high-priced guys, and they're close to being effed after the rookie deal dies. He missed 13 games in the last 2 years. So you have that. This is from the volume. He's a good dude. It was a business move, missed 13 games the last 2 years. So as far as Armstead goes, I think he would be a really good influence on Will Anderson. I think he would be a really good player. Question comes down to health. Can he be healthy? Do they think he's going to be able to play? Played in the playoffs. He loves D'Amico. D'Amico loves him. Is Christian Wilkins I can promise you this. Like this is the one thing I can promise you. And I know that Christian Wilkins is the big name. Tank is just as nice as Garrett Wilson. I'm gonna sit you in timeout for that space, man. I love you, man, but you're in timeout, man. You gotta stop, man. I like Tank, but I'm gonna put you in timeout on that. For real. Yeah, you're in timeout, sir. But the Armstead situation is interesting because I think that Armstead would obviously fit in well here. It's just a matter of whether or not he can stay healthy. I think he might be fine. A lot of people have been talking about the video I did yesterday. I've gotten a lot of messages on this, a lot of texts. I actually didn't have my phone all day today. It was actually kind of fun. But the Bosa Mac thing I think is interesting too. Could the Texans end up having a old ass D line where you have Will Anderson on the opposite side, and then you have Armstead and Malik Collins and Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack? I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. I know that Joey Bosa has all the problems and stuff. Look, I don't know his medicals or anything. All I know is this. His brother loves D'Amico, and if he's healthy, the reality of the situation is going to be this. On one hand, you can say, well, he's always hurt, and I would agree with you. But on the other hand, this is a guy who, when at his best, he warranted a $25 million plus a year contract. Now, it might not have paid out, but because it didn't play out means that he might be available. So if you tell me that Joey Bosa, the foot is fine, he's ready to go, he knows, and he's pumped, because if you watched my video yesterday, Nick Bosa had said that D'Amico's the best coach he ever played for. If you tell me that Joey Bosa is opposite of Will Anderson and he's healthy, sign me up for that. You tell me that Khalil Mack wants to come here and try to ring chase, sign me up for that. I don't give a damn if they bring up Armstead too, and it's just an old ass D line. Sign me up for that. Will Anderson's getting as good a education as you can possibly get. Jonathan Greenard, been a popular topic in free agency. He talked to my boy. Shout out to Chancellor Johnson, KPRC too, about free agency. Here was what Greenard, friend of the show, by the way, had him on the air, 3 times this year? Here's what Greenard had to say.
How much do you want to be wearing a Houston Texans jersey this time next year?
Man, 1,000%. I mean, they drafted me here. That's like the goal. Like, I mean, when I think about it all the time, I always thought like, yeah, this will be the end goal. I could retire, but as we all know, that's up in the air, man. That's not for me to decide. They know where I stand with it. I'm gonna continue to put this jersey on for the Houston Texans and for the fans that supported me all this whole time, and I think the city deserves it. So I'm gonna give them my all, and they know that. And no matter what happens, it's always still gonna be love here in Houston for sure.
Yeah, it's always love. Jonathan Alexander is the man. Jonathan Alexander, I would let go though, or not Jonathan Alexander. Goodness gracious, Jonathan Greenard. Damn, Jonathan Alexander, Houston Chronicle. I just cut him. But yeah, Greenard, I would let him go. I think he earned the right to test the market. Now, if no one wants to pay him, and then we circle back to that, I'd be down with that. Who knows? Zay brings up an interesting name, and I think this is good. And I actually think this is a really good point, man, on top of everything I just said. So whether I agree with you or not, it's all love in the locker room. Y'all know that. By the way, Aiden wants to be put in timeout so he can see what it's like. Sure, man. I'll put you in that. Put in timeout, sir. But going back to the comment, man, y'all are crazy. I'd rather have Chase Young. I'll go to Mark's, the other one. I actually agree. I actually don't disagree with that, but I also say that with the tease that at the end of the show, I'm gonna say why what you say and what I say doesn't mean anything. And I think this is important for the Texans fan, and it's important for the person following this squad and what this organization currently is. So at the end, I'll tell you why what you think and what I think does not matter. And we'll probably go an hour tonight. But as far as Chase Young goes, I like Chase Young, and I actually feel like Chase Young is kind of the new Clowney, where I think Chase Young's going to be trying to prove himself, trying to establish himself, much like Clowney has really for like 5 years now. And Clowney never really accomplished it, but he was still a valuable piece to every team that he was ever on, where he's signing 1-year deals more times than not. He's doing it at the end of camp. Chase Young, I don't know how short or how long term he's going to be, but I could see Chase. First of all, a couple of things. I could see D'Amico Ryans getting the most of Chase Young, and I could see Chase Young being someone that you want to kick the tires on. So, and he also has more upside. Like Joey Bosa, regardless, like of what we're talking about, Joey Bosa is not trying to survive in the league. He's in a different point in his career. Although I do know that Chase Young really looks up to Joey Bosa. I've heard him talk about him in the shop and stuff. But if you would rather have Chase Young, I 100% agree with that. And I like Chase Young too. I like Chase Young a lot. I'm a big fan of Chase Young. Massive fan of him. Real Emmy Monty. If I spelled that right, who is that guy? Should I know? Is that like the young kid emoji guy? I don't know. Someone tell me in the comments who the hell that is. Be sure to like too. Go back and like. Likes are, I guess, a good thing. I'm not gonna like be weird and say, "Hey, put in the comments how much you could kick a field goal for." I'm not chat sports. I'm not just like YouTube hoeing folks. I'm actually in the mix. I'm here and all that type of stuff. Not weasel. This might sound weird, but Texans should sign Joey Bosa to a 1 or 2 year deal to see how he does health wise. And if he stays healthy, then damn, the D line is going to be insane. Yeah, I mean, they're obviously going to have to kick the tires. And we'll see what happens. H&R talking about 23. Man, can we get through free agency, Holmes? I mean, I'm not trying to disrespect you or nothing like that, but damn, like what for what? I mean, free agency starts in what? Where we at? 11 hours? You're asking me what we're gonna do at 23? Who cares, bro? Let's shape this up, man. Let's shape this up and see what the hell's popping, man. Let's see what's popping. I pray NY, going back to the running back thing. I pray the Texans don't get Tony Pollard. See, this is gonna go back to my last thing at the end of this, man. And I promise you it will make sense. But at the end of this video, before I sign off, I don't want to disagree with you. We're gonna have our opinions, but I can promise you at the end of this that I don't give a damn what you say. I don't give a damn what I say. And we're still going draft. I'm good on Xavier Worthy. I've watched him 100 times. Chase Young or Joey Bosa for the same money. Ooh, now we're getting fun. This is what's up right here. This B Mark's coming through. All right, so Landry, if you had the choice between Chase Young or Joey Bosa for the same money, who would you rather choose? One year? Are we going 1 year? Let's just go 1 year. Let's just say it's 1 year deals. Ooh. I'm gonna go Chase, man. I'm gonna go Chase. I feel like I like Joey a lot. I don't think you can go wrong either way, but I feel like Chase is unrealized potential, and I feel like D'Amico could just like get his hand on his shoulder with Matt Burke and just completely turn his career. Like I could easily see a situation where Joey Bosa comes here and gets double-digit sacks, and you're making a playoff run, and Joey Bosa's that dude opposite Will Anderson and all that. I could easily see that. But I could see a situation where Chase Young comes here. He realizes potential. He's like willing to die for D'Amico, and he is just completely reviving his career and becoming a long-term piece. I like Chase. So I'll go with Chase on that, but that's a good-ass question, man. Real good question. 100%. Brandon says, Caserio rewatching Moneyball with Brad Pitt tonight. I don't know if Caserio's playing any type of ball. The funniest thing to me is, and I saw McLean say this, and I actually, I'm going to have breakfast with McLean before the draft at Avalon. I actually have two $200 bets with McLean, or $100 bets, and I've gotten some money from McLean. He has Bo Nix going first round. That's gone. I told him he could get rid of it. And he had Bowers going top 10, so he's going to miss both those. So he's going to owe me $200. I told him, man, don't pay me. But he's rich, so he don't pay me. John McClain. Caserio rewatching Moneyball with Brad Pitt tonight. I don't know what Caserio's philosophy is. I feel like there's not any way to measure this situation, because I hear people say, you know, he did this in New England. Dude, he didn't do damn thing in New England. Like, that wasn't him. Now, they did, and he was a part of it. And it's the same thing with D'Amico Ryans and Slowick. Like, you can look at what the organization did and how they observed it and how close they observed it. But as far as trying to compare what Nick Caserio does to what he might do now, I just don't think it's a fair thing to do. I don't think it makes sense. So when I hear that, I don't know. The D'Amico thing though, and the one thing I think does matter with D'Amico Ryans is I feel like the running back impact that Christian McCaffrey had in San Fran, I think they understand that. And they've also talked about a running back committee when they got here, Slowick and D'Amico. So I feel like you need to at least take that into account because they observed it. They weren't in charge of it, but they observed it. And Nick Caserio observed it too. And Nick Caserio is a real observer. But if we're talking about trying to figure out how to like forecast what they're doing, I don't think you can really forecast it with either of them at all. We're learning about them. And that's the beauty about it. I'm learning about them. You're learning about them. We're learning. We can hear what they say and we can hear what they do and we can watch what they do, but we're learning about D'Amico and Caserio and all that type of stuff. So who the hell knows what they're going to do? No clue. What should they do? They need to adjust running back. They need to get a starting corner. They need to address the D-line. And then they need to see what's up with Blake Cashman. Like, what is Blake Cashman going to do? A lot of Swifties here, man. A lot of Swifties. Swift appears to be the most popular guy right now. I just want this to be explained to me, and I'm not saying that there's a reason why or not, but this is what I need to understand, and maybe it could be systematic fit, it could be economic, whatever. But this is what I need to know, and this is what I want to know. Why are the Lions willing to give up on Swift and then draft a running back in the first round and pay a running back? And then the Eagles are willing to trade for him and then let him go. And they're rumored to be in the market for high-priced running backs. Explain that to me. Because I think Swift is underrated as a receiver, and I like Swift. I'm very pro running back. But explain that to me, or at least attempt to explain that to me. Because the Detroit Lions were trying to make some moves. They drafted the running back in the first round, and then they traded him, and they'd already signed Montgomery. I mean, he was good for the Eagles last year, and he's not there. So I'm asking for you to explain that to me, because what's going to happen is if the Texans bring in Swift, and this is going to go back to the end of this show. The end of this show, I've talked about it, and I think this will explain everything. But as long as we're having like these two-way discussions, just tell me why that makes sense. Like, at what point do we wonder, like, is this player that guy? Mr. Robot says, my explanation is this. Lowered expectations of the Texans organization to take big swings, spin bigger. Therefore, my answer is Swift. Yeah, Swift has a lot in the tank. Okay. Did the Lions and Eagles not know that? Like, if the Eagles go sign a more expensive running back, does that not make you feel weird? The year after the Lions drafted a running back in the first round and then signed one for high price money, that doesn't make sense to me, man. Jose says that doesn't make sense. Yeah, I agree. Although at the end of this video, Try to make some sense. Just never got the carries with the Eagles due to Hurts being a ball hog. Okay. Just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. So if the Eagles want to go get Saquon instead of Swift, the Texans are just supposed to go get Swift? Does that not make you feel weird? Like if running back is a big need for the Texans, if the Eagles, and we know, do the Eagles know what they're doing? I'm just asking, like meltdowns and everything. Do you think the Eagles know what they're doing? Yeah or nay? So if they let Swift go and then they sign Saquon and then the Texans sign Swift, you feel good about that? Really? That's weird. I don't know about that. Running back market's interesting right now. I don't know what to make of it. Know what to make of it at all. Jerome Kicks knows less than I. Why sign any RBs? Because why they're on the markets. No idea what you're saying, man. If the Eagles are going to let Swift go and then pay more for Saquon, just seems kind of tough. Aiden, talk about what I'm talking about. Kind of a foreshadow at the end. Want to see what's up. Man, I want to get me a Barkley and Singletary would be great signing. They need to sign Singletary no matter what back they sign. If Barkley is going to command the biggest contract of free runs, wouldn't he want no state income? Man, I don't know what's up with the no state income tax. It always gets brought up, but I don't know. I don't know how to even get that. I feel like we're about to get a straw man. Anytime someone says people, little straw man, lover oh get. People just hopping on the bandwagon. They hear people, media say they don't want Saquon. He's injury prone, too expensive, etc. BS claims and roll with it. Actually, that ain't no straw man. That's the facts, man. Because people aren't even using their heads when it comes to the way they talk about running backs. It's actually kind of troubling, man. And I honestly think that you almost need to like weed out folks that say stupid stuff that they say when it comes to the running backs. I mean, because a lot of people are sitting here talking about running backs like it's 3 years ago. They're not making over 10 mil a year, and they're still having the same impact. Saquon Barkley took the Giants to the playoffs 2 years ago. Christian McCaffrey turned around the 49ers. He's the reason that Brock Purdy's Brock Purdy. He's the reason that the 49ers have been in the situation they've been in the last couple of seasons. Josh Jacobs was the heart and soul of the Raiders a couple years ago. Did they used to be a little overpaid? Maybe. I kind of feel like the whole league is going to, and I said this before the safety run, I feel like eventually it's just going to be, we're not going to give anyone a second contract. I feel like running backs was just the scapegoat and the first thing. We're seeing it with safeties now. Man, the safety's not worth it. Next, it's going to be the corner. Then it's going to be the guard. Then it's going to be the tackle. I don't think quarterback will ever get to there, but that's what it is. Running back right now is being looked at like how you should look at your whole squad. You don't want to pay the second contract. And that's economics, man. But you hear the way running backs are talked about. It's kind of it's just different. People aren't even adjusting their mindset right now, and that's just I know I'm not like I actually think it's whack and corny when people say, "Oh, that's a lazy take," I don't know what that means, bro. Like, how much effort does it take? Oh, that was a lazy take. Like, I don't know what that means. I've never understood that, but I do think it's I don't know what the word is, but if you're not adjusting to what's actually going on, where the impact that a running back could potentially make based on the contract is like a running back right now is the same an elite running back, like a really good running back right now. And this is why 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was saying you draft a running back in the first or second round because people aren't paying them in the second contract. And now that's being proven right. Like people are doing that. Like the Colts drafted Jonathan Taylor. That ended up I'm not some sort of genius, but I'm just saying like it's literally just looking at the market. And now all of a sudden they're cheaper and people aren't going for them. Like it's bad market grasp of what the running back is. It's actually kind of embarrassing, kind of sad. Like it would be like if we dismissed a steakhouse because it costs $80 a plate, and we said that's too expensive, man. I'd rather go to Saltgrass. And then all of a sudden, that steakhouse has Saltgrass prices, and it's $35 a plate, and you're still talking about it the same way. Kind of telling on yourself the way you talk about them running backs. Drives me nuts. Really does. I don't like the way that running backs get spoken of at all. Armstead or Wilkins, if healthy, I would take Armstead for 2 years. I don't want to give Wilkins 4 or 5. Now, with that said, probably going to happen. I'm going to look silly. So that just kind of is what it is. Coochie Main says Justin Simmons. Man, I like Simmons, man. Big fan. 291 King Kong. What are we doing at corner? Getting a starter. I think the Texans starting corners will be established by Wednesday. So I don't know what they're going to be looking at in the veteran market, but that's going to be a big thing for them. I think that's going to be one of the top priorities. Now, does that prevent them from potentially drafting a corner if it falls to them in the first round? Second round or third round? No, but I think the Texans will have a starting corner by Wednesday. 100%. Sawgrass ain't trash. You're tripping on that. Y'all are tripping on that. That's hating right there. In the life of Colby Coochie, y'all are crazy on that. Sawgrass goes in. Y'all have lost your damn mind. Xavier Howard being talked about in the comments. I'm good on Steven Nelson, man. Let him go. You got all you can get out of him. Let him go. He gone. Let him go. He thinks he's Deion Sanders now. He was great last year. Gave you everything you could ask for in 2 years, but we get on Steven Nelson. We're straight on that. Boyd? What are you talking about, Boyd? Taj Boyd? We're talking about Tyler Boyd? I don't know what you're talking. Chris Boyd? Yeah, Chris Boyd signing? I don't know what you're saying, Aiden. Are you in on Boyd? I don't know what that means. I think the biggest signings happen this week or after, and I think they happen this week. And then after could end up being the biggest because Nick Caserio has shown he's willing to play the market, but for sure this week. Just let Nelson go. Quit bringing him up. Let him go. Man, y'all are some haters on the Saltgrass. Man, y'all gotta go back and like, man. I don't even know about this or anything. Y'all need to like exit and like or like after. 400 people, 85 likes. Y'all gotta like that video, man. this video. I need y'all to do that. Pretty please. Pair Swift and Henry. What that's Madden. That's Madden-ish right there. I mean, come on, bro. What do you mean? Like, hey, Swift, come through. Henry, come through. I would rather pair Swift with Singletary or Henry with Singletary. What are we doing here? Pair Swift and Henry. Being crazy, man. Shout out to Southeast Asia in the building. Be sure to like for sure. Happy birthday to Jim. Jim says it's his birthday. Happy birthday to you, my friend. For sure. Sawgrass get good at everything, man. Y'all are tripping it and hating on that. Y'all are tripping and hating on that. Think Slowick sees Barkley as a CMC? I don't know. I don't know what Slowick sees. Slowick sees a lot, though. He worked at, I don't know if y'all know this, but Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator for the Texans, he actually worked at Pro Football Focus watching film for 2 years. So he's kind of a film nerd. We've talked to him about it. So, yeah. Just Chad, any running backs I like in the draft? Not really. I've been the biggest running back draft guy for the last, like, my whole life. I don't love any of them. I haven't really even paid attention to them. As soon as you tell me that Jonathan Brooks is the best running back in a draft, I'm good. And I like Jonathan Brooks. I don't even think he would have gotten the most carries at Texas if he'd come back. I think the both the guys with an offseason would have surpassed him. So I'm not about that. Oh yeah. This dude knows. Zay knows the Texas tea, baby. Saltgrass Texas tea. That's what it is. Texas tea is what that is. No doubt. You're late, Will. Talking about Arik Armstead. You're late, man. You're asking about that. Like him. Like him a lot. Think that he's him and D'Amico have a good relationship. Might be cheap. If he's healthy, I like him. For sure. Madden franchise mode has ruined NFL fans. It's made them better, man. It's all good. Yes, I would go with Armstead over Wilkins. Man, people are talking about Patrick Queen. I don't know. Man, that's whack too to me. Yeah, let me ask y'all this, like with Patrick Queen. And this would I'm just gonna ask 2 questions. I won't even like give my opinion. I'm just gonna ask 2 questions. I want you to answer them yourself, and then you give me your opinion. Okay? Y'all good with this? Let me know. Are y'all good? All right. So these would be my this is my 2 questions on this. Question number 1. Do you think the Baltimore Ravens know what the hell they're doing? Yes or no? Do you think the Baltimore Ravens, like when it comes to player evaluation and stuff, do you think they know what the hell they're doing? I'm asking. I mean, every team makes mistakes, but do you think the Baltimore Ravens know what the hell they're doing? Like when it comes to player evaluation. Okay. Why the hell didn't they pick up Patrick Queen's 5th-year option? You want a third question? Why the hell did they trade for Roquan Smith when they had Patrick Queen? Just asking. Why are they letting him walk? That's 4. Damn, I thought I just had 2. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option because of money? And they traded for Roquan Smith? They literally traded for an upgrade and didn't pick his stuff up. But you want the Texans to make him one of the highest paid linebackers in the NFL. Because that's what he would end up being. Highest paid linebacker in the NFL. Because that's how free agency kind of works. All right. Guess Baltimore just doesn't know what they're doing. And they're going to make some mistakes. Better than Perriman. No kidding. Is that the same price? Are we going schoolyard style? I mean, you're talking like I'm going to have Denzel Perriman right next to me and Patrick Queen. I'm going to go with Denzel Perriman. Come on, bro. I think Will's right on this. Let someone else overpay him. For sure. Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. So I'm going to get out of here on this. And this is my whole thing. And this hasn't always been the case. And this has been something that's been kind of a new development. I don't know if this is going to last for a while because I know that us talking heads and us fans, media types, whatever. By the way, be sure to ride along in the Loop, Sports Radio 610, 10 a.m. Central, Odyssey app, YouTube. Subscribe to the Sports Radio 610 YouTube. You can watch and Twitch. But when it comes to this talk about players, who do you want? Who don't you want? Who are you arguing with? What are you arguing about? And that's what I do. That's what y'all do. And that's why in the less than 2 years, damn, how long has it been? Like a year and a half or whatever since I've been allowed to have my own stream. Despite being on the radio since 2016. But I digress. When we talk about this, we argue, we do all this stuff, and we've been stuck in situations where the organization is trash, the franchise sucks. It's almost kind of frustrating because you almost feel like you're smarter than the guys that are making the decisions. Like Bill O'Brien giving this contract to this guy or this contract to that guy and making this trade, the DeAndre Hopkins trade, the Whitney Merciless second contract, not the first, the Eric Murray contract, the Randall Cobb contract. It's not satisfying to actually be smarter than the front office. It's actually kind of cool when they make you look stupid. Because that usually means that things are better, right? Because you were wrong and they were right. The J.J. Watt deal, etc. And that's why it's kind of soothing and it's less stressful and it's awesome to be in a position to where I feel like whatever the Texans front office decides, and I'm talking about D'Amico Ryans, Nick Caserio, Bobby Slowick, whoever else is in charge, it feels like you can at least feel good about the decision. Like you can feel like, okay, they know what they're doing. They've proven themselves in a short time. Might not always be the case, but they've proven themselves. So F my thoughts, F your thoughts, F our feelings. Like T.I. said, F your thoughts and your feelings. The Texans might know what they're doing. So if I want Saquon Barkley and they decide to go with DeAndre Swift or Josh Jacobs, let's see what's going on. Now, if B.O.B. would have done this, wouldn't be the same thing. But it's a good thing to feel. And it's a fun time. And we are very close to free agency. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Please, 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 please be sure to like the video. If anything, if you never do anything for me, cuss me out, do whatever you want to do. Be sure to like that video and be sure to remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. I'm going to talk to you in a very short time. Happy daylight, whatever, forward, whatever. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Thanks for coming through. Free agency is going to be fun as hell. Have videos with every signing, and I'm going to talk to you every night at 10:30. Appreciate y'all for rolling through.
Localize every time. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days. Opinions to give. We got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number 1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.